One. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Post Game. I'm your host, Dave. I'm joined by Matt
What up?
and Oronde.
What's poppin'?
And today we are back with our Let's Talk NFL Season 2 series. Today we are talking about the Las Vegas Raiders. So the Raiders went off this offseason. They extended their head coach, or the interim head coach now to the Antonio Pierce, right? I'm pretty sure that's his name.
Correct.
They extended him, gave him a couple-year contract. They went out and did pretty interesting things in the draft, winning and going and they went and got Brock, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
We
Yep.
went and got Brock Bowers.
Brock
Brock
Bowers. They went
The
out
13th pick. They got another center or guard center, Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon, who was probably one of the better interior D or offensive linemen this year's draft. They get a new QB with Minshew. A lot of people were upset that they didn't draft a QB, but
when we're really there.
right, there wasn't really any there, and I think they were trying to trade in up into the draft, but it was just not the right move. Honestly, it was good that they did best available. And then they got Christian Wilkins on their defense, big 4-year, $110 million contract.
He
That's
deserved
great
every
for
penny
them.
of it.
Exactly. Him and Max Crosby are going to be
A
fun to watch
problem.
for sure. But realistically, like they didn't really do too much. It's
I mean,
kind
but
of a standstill though. I don't know.
so we see that team and we see that, they're pretty and they are about the same place as the Chargers. They're in the spot where they can be very good in the future, but if you rush it, you're gonna be you're gonna let yourself down, right? So in my opinion, when I look at the Chargers, I see
You mean Raiders?
or sorry, Raiders, yes.
Bro's still Charger pilled.
I see
That's right.
a mold of a team that has potential in the future, but I see the inside of the shell that still needs to be built, still needs to set. And so, I mean, they have a team that is not bad. I mean, they have Jacoby Myers at the receiving core, Brock Bowers now at the tight,
Devontae Adams. They still
Vontae
have
Adams. Like, they have players to really start the foundations of a real team. And I think if you look at the kid, Aiden O'Connell, he's not awful. I think they gave him an offseason now, so now he'll know what to expect, he'll know what to do. And I think if as long as he can protect the football, he'll be fine at holding them
right.
a standard. So before we go into the schedule, because it's still a little early off of that, I think the starting question is who gets that starting quarterback job, O'Connell or Gardner Minshew?
Probably
Um,
Minshew. Minshew
yeah, I would
is
agree with
more
that.
likely to win that.
I just think, yeah, experience wise, Minshew, obviously, he's not the flashiest guy, but he's solid. He can
Yep.
get you a couple wins, I think. He's a good bridge QB for sure. If they really are banking on Aiden O'Connell to be their future, which to me, I don't think they will, but who knows?
Yeah.
Um,
If he got that dog in him, is we about to find
right,
out.
right. Keep him on the back burner for now, and just see what Minshew can do. Um, and maybe even next year they probably will be going for a QB again, which wouldn't be a surprise. Obviously the QB class isn't going to be as good as this year's, and as much talent as it was, but um, I don't know. And a lot of people, I saw like a lot of Raiders fans were just like upset with the Brock Bowers pick because of them getting or having Mike Myers already. Brock Bowers arguably was probably a top 3 player in this draft,
Yep.
like period. He was incredible for Georgia. Um, like having being compared to Gronk and like these great tight ends, I think they're fine with that. I think it's just another weapon for their offense. Just give the quarterback, whoever it is, we'll say Minshew, as many bodies as possible to succeed. Um, yeah, I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be all right.
I agree though, partially with the Bowers thing because I'm a big Michael Mayer fan. I mean, honestly, any
Myers.
good tight end
Oh
I
yeah,
would pay
Mayer.
attention to. Plus, he came out of Notre Dame. But I mean, if they really are scheming for a 2 tight end set on top of their other weapons, then great. But if they get him and don't use him, kind of like the Atlanta did with London
Right.
and company, then
It's
there's gonna be backlash and it's gonna be a bigger problem.
I mean,
right.
it'll be like Atlanta and now their new quarterback as well.
That
That's
too.
true.
Failing.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I think the biggest question mark is their running back. Who is it?
It was
I'm looking at him. So we got
it's
oh
so they
Alexander.
got Alexander Madison and Amir Abdullah back, but I think I heard is it Zamir White is his name? I
That
believe
sounds right.
he was a
Zamir.
rookie he was
Zamir
Zamir White. He was
from
a rookie
Georgia.
last year. Yes, he was a rookie last year who actually did pretty well when he was starting.
His third year.
Um, what was his third year? Excuse me. Why
But
did I
yeah,
think?
this will be his third year. Huh.
Okay, I'm tripping. I apologize.
That's all good.
Anyways,
All good.
um, I've heard a lot that he could potentially be the starting running back. I don't know exactly if they'll probably run multiple running backs like most teams do.
Yeah. Running back.
Madison is fine. I don't know.
Madison's a great early down back, but not.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
But
But
he
like,
was responsible for a lot of explosive plays in his playing time with the Vikings.
that's true. hmm
So
So
big play potential with Madison. I can confirm that.
yeah, so that'll be probably the biggest question on their offense besides quarterback. Um, yeah,
So when looking at this team, like how many years out do we see them from being competitive in the AFC? Because we know the AFC is a very competitive division, or not division, conference. Call
I
them
mean, they
conferences, right?
probably just need one more year,
yeah.
Just one. Oh,
You
so
one or
think
two.
do you think they're a quarterback away from being great or good?
I mean, with a record like theirs, and don't get me
they
wrong,
have a good core? They honestly do. Um, but is it better than like the Chargers?
I think secondary wise, I would still say I
Because
think that's the question. That's the question right there.
that
Who has a better upside in the next 3 to 5 years? The Raiders or the Chargers?
right,
probably the
and
Chargers.
Mm.
you can even throw the Broncos in there, but like again, they're not really that relevant right now, in my opinion. But yeah, like no one's gonna. We know no one's gonna touch the Chiefs unless there's some freak crazy stuff that happens in their, you know, with their team. But yeah, honestly, these two teams, the Raiders and the Chargers, could compete for that second place. And like the Raiders are like sneaky good. Like they can be decent. What was their record last year? They were, hold on. Do y'all have that record? Hold on.
The Raiders?
Okay. Yeah, what was their record last year?
They went. I had it pulled up, and now it's gone.
Oh,
6, 7, 8,
6 or 7, right?
8. They got 8. They got 8.
Okay.
8. So 8 and
Yeah, they went 8-9.
that's it.
Okay.
I mean, because you remember they
Yeah,
won
they
60,
had a +1 point differential last season.
63 to
Wow,
21.
that's right. That's right. They were really, yeah, a lot of those games were close. I
They
remember
beat
that.
the door. So they beat the doors of the Chargers 61 to 21, and then
Oh my
they
God, I
lost.
forgot.
Then they lost 3-0 to the Vikings. Remember that snooze fest?
Yep. What a polarizing team.
This is incredible. Okay.
Generational.
So let's look at their schedule here. Okay. So week one is against the Chargers. What do we have there? Toss up, honestly.
I go back to this year. Hold on, sorry. Wait. Oh. So week 1 is against the Chargers.
Correct.
Yeah, I think it's still a toss up. I think they split in that division. No,
Right. Yeah, I agree.
I think they split. So I think regardless of what we feel like it's going to be a split.
And then week two against Baltimore, they'll lose that,
Wait,
I
Matt, you look
think.
at the wrong schedule.
No,
Oh
I'm
no,
not.
I am. I'm looking at preseason. Sorry. Yes, Chargers week 1. I think they're going to split regardless of what happens. Week 2, at Baltimore, loss.
Yeah, that's probably a loss.
At home
Week
against.
three, Carolina, they'll probably win that. That's gonna be an interesting one.
I think it'll be a toss-up. I think Carolina is
That's
right on
fair.
par with the Raiders.
Right. And like obviously Carolina was the worst team in the league.
I don't think they'll
Um,
be that bad though.
they definitely have shown improvement in the offseason, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm
You
still a
know,
little
I'm thinking
skeptical.
about it. I'm skimming through the schedule. Dog, it's not looking good. Their
For the
schedule's
Raiders?
kind of
Oh
hard.
no.
It's
Okay.
their schedule's kind of hard. Honestly, you might just have to read them out because there's a lot of losses on here.
Okay, let's do this. Okay, so week 3, Carolina. So we'll say the Raiders win that. Then they play Cleveland. That's a toss-up, I
Yeah.
think. I'll give the Browns a slight edge because of their defense is better.
The Raiders have the ninth hardest schedule as of
Oh
strength of
God.
schedule.
Then they play Denver.
What
I think they win that for sure.
and
Hmm.
Pittsburgh at home, I think it's a loss.
That's a loss.
They so Pittsburgh, then the Rams.
Then the Rams.
That's in
Then
LA,
then the Chiefs.
and then they host the Chiefs, and then they travel to Cincinnati, then they
Jesus.
And
travel
then
to
they have a
Miami.
well, yeah, they have the week 10 bye.
Yep, the
Then off the
bye.
bye, they go to Miami. Then Denver again. Then the Chiefs again.
Then
Then
the
the Bucks.
Bucks,
Then the Falcons. Then the Jaguars, Saints,
and then
and
the
then
Chargers to
Chargers.
close out.
So that week, man, week 6 to like 11, you can even argue to week 14 is kind of
Yeah,
tough.
all the way to week 14, they were going to
Like
tear.
taking Denver out of there, that's probably the only like
Yeah.
winnable game they have here. Like Rams are a better team, I think. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. The Bengals are a better team. The Dolphins are a better team, even though they kind of regress, but it's still the Dolphins. They're always great in the regular season. And then the Bucks, who are going to surprise a lot of people like they did last year because they were kind of written off early on. And look at what Baker did with that
Yep.
team. And then this newly revamped Falcons team is going to be interesting, especially week 15. Those two, like these games right here, could decide playoff like potential.
Yeah, and I think you look at the Raiders, they're not going to be in a position where like this part of the season is going to matter. And so I think you
You
see,
don't think so? You
No,
don't think
because
oh,
they could play for the
I have the
second?
Ravens or not the Raiders. I have the Raiders going like five wins, six
no,
wins.
what were they last season? 8. So
They
they're
went
gonna
8-9.
They're
They're
gonna
gonna fall
regress.
behind. I think they're
so
gonna
let's
fall behind a little bit
so
because they
let's
have
look.
a for two main reasons. Different. They're not surefire on how they're gonna run their system because obviously they could fall on their face off the rip and then they're just gonna be playing from behind the whole season. But on top of that, they just their schedule just got harder year over
Yeah.
year.
I mean, let's look at their last 4. Atlanta, who are going
Jacksonville.
to be trying to fight for a spot.
Atlanta, Jacksonville,
Jacksonville, who are
who's
going to be
probably
trying
going to
to fight
be
for a
fight.
spot. The Saints, who are going to be trying to fight for a spot. And then the Chargers, who are going to, I don't know what that's going to be. And so I think they're going to lose at least 2 of their last 4.
Though I will say, take the Chargers to not Chargers. Take the Raiders to steal a Chiefs game.
They could. They did that last year,
They
right?
did that last season.
In Arrowhead. That was a crazy game.
So when's their first game against the Chiefs? Week 8 after the Chiefs bye week though.
Um,
They're gonna be turning the corner at that point.
if they don't get that week 8 game, then they don't.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, right. Here's the thing. Like I say a lot, coaching is gonna matter here.
Yeah,
They love Antonio Pierce. We know this.
I agree.
Like
Yeah.
they rehired him for a reason. I think he has that winning mentality,
Yeah.
which could put him over the edge. This team could be sneaky underrated just because of how good their coaching staff can be. The pieces, obviously, they aren't that flashy in regards to quarterback play, let's say. Obviously, they have the weapons, they have the defense. It's if Pierce has a letdown season, it's not going to be good.
Yeah, no.
But I don't know. They'll probably finish with the same amount of games won last year, like the 9 or 8.
Yeah.
in there. Their floor, you said five, Oronde?
Yeah. He's gone though.
He's gone. Damn.
So
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
I think when you look at this team, I think, like you said, Pierce is a coach that players want to get behind. I think that
Right.
that defensive line is going to be one of the best, and that pass rush is going to be one of the best in the NFL. And I think they are going to frustrate a lot of people. They're going to piss off the Chiefs, and I can still see them beating the Chiefs. I think they could split with every team in the division, because I think when in doubt, the Raiders are going to fight because of just they're dogs over there.
Their
Truthfully,
culture
yeah,
is,
literally.
yeah.
And so I think when I look at that team, when I look at everything around, just even though like their quarterback situation is still at question mark, they can be um a competitive team and get back to 8 wins. I think that will be one of the
Okay.
big surprises that they can, even though they aren't meant to be working, even though this team is supposed to be behind either the quarterback player or whatever the case may be. I think my boldest prediction for this Raiders team is they can get 9 wins.
9 wins. Do you think that's a playoff spot then?
No, I think look at the rest of the conference. I don't think it.
Right.
I think
I'll say
you have to have 10 this season.
I'll be bold. I think they can make the playoffs, like a
Yeah.
wild card spot. I'd give them that for sure. I
Mm,
mean, it's tough. That's why it's a little bold because yeah, like we said, the AFC is pretty loaded this year. But again, like anything can happen. Like I'm telling you, those last like 3 to maybe 4 games are going to be so tight. I feel like between like 4 or 5 teams,
yeah.
like anything can happen. And I could see the Raiders pushing it and making it because like besides like Atlanta, who like if we go from like week 15 to 18,
Yeah.
like all these are winnable. Atlanta's probably like the hardest one they'll have, I think. Jacksonville, to me, I think they're a better team than Jacksonville. Saints, who knows what's going to be going on with the Saints by week 17, but to me, they're a better team. And then the Chargers, kind of the same boat, but like the Raiders have more talent. So like I don't
So do
know.
you think that the Raiders will be better than the Chargers this season?
I don't know.
I think
Um
those two teams are interchangeable. I think the Saints and the Falcons
right.
are going to be interchangeable this season. I think especially late in the season. I don't know why. I think I've been joining too many Saints podcasts because I'm getting a little delusional on what's going to happen with our team this year. But I think when it gets to week 15, or honestly, no, scratch that. When it gets to week 13 or 14,
Right.
after that Chiefs game and at Kansas City, they have to travel to Tampa Bay. I think that is going to be where their future's decided. Tampa Bay,
Right.
Atlanta, Jacksonville, New Orleans. That 4 game stretch will be four of the most important games for every last one of those teams. And
Mhm.
so I think whoever is making that push, whoever is above 8 wins at that point, 7 wins at that point, are going to be trying to get into the playoffs, especially in the NFC where it's easier to get in with 8 or 9 wins.
I agree.
So I
Excuse
don't
me.
know.
I mean, I know I think I said I had the Chargers coming in second, but like yeah, like you said, Davion, it's kind of interchangeable.
Yeah,
The only reason like the only it's not even that like different. It's just like Harbaugh, it just has more experience. That's like the only reason why I would have the Chargers above them. But like Pierce is still great. Like
I agree. I
there's
think Pierce is incredible. Yeah.
so like I don't know, man. It'll be interesting for that second spot. And maybe they aren't even fighting for a playoff spot, but I don't know. It'll be interesting.
I
Yeah.
definitely think it'll be tough for everyone involved. I think, dare I say, the NFL is getting more and more competitive by the day.
I think so, especially in the AFC.
Yeah. I
And
mean, yeah.
NFC,
They're trying to
usually
find
those
it in
are
the
four
NFC.
teams.
They're trying to
They'll
find
they'll get it. They'll get it, I think. And you kind of notice that most years or like, every almost decade, you could say like the AFC would be the most dominant, then it'll flip to the NFC, then it'll be the AFC. And like right now with Mahomes being there, and it looks like everybody's going to the AFC to try to stop Mahomes
Yep.
with the Rodgers, Stroud, Lamar, those guys, compared to the NFC where it's Niners, Eagles. Like that's basically it. Like those are the two guarantees. So yeah,
I think we are in for some fun in every single division.
I
Um,
agree.
I'm excited to sit here and sit back and watch. But as we begin to wrap up, any final thoughts you have on the Raiders?
Um, like I kind of said earlier, I'll have my bold prediction. I think they can make the playoffs with like a 10 wins. I'll say 10 wins they get this year. That's my bold prediction.
You know,
They'll
I'm
be
gonna match you on that. 10 wins is gonna be the bold prediction as well. I think 10 wins is. I think if they get 10 wins, Antonio Pierce wins Coach of the Year.
Yeah. I
Plain
was thinking about putting Pierce as coach of the year, but I can't change it now. Too late.
I think if he comes out and they do something crazy, then it's gonna be over. But
All right. Yeah.
anyway, Matt, appreciate you for joining. Oronde was here. Appreciate him for joining as well. We are almost done recording the AFC West. This is gonna be our third time next time recording this division. So, but yeah, no, leave down below in the comments how you feel about it. This division and the Raiders so far. Let us know what you think down below in the comments. I've been your host, Davion. That's been Matt. This has been the post game. Peace.